Welcome to Dining Room Stories with Domar and Andrea, where we take you behind the scenes of the restaurant business world with stories and conversation that inspire.
Today, we're joined by the director of One Collective Group and St Remio Coffee, a brand built on purpose, quality, and impact. Welcome to Dining Room Stories, Julia Tink.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Welcome, Julia.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Julia, take us back to the beginning. What inspired you to start St Remio?
Look, I have been wanting my own business since I was 15 years old. So for me, the writing was on the wall from a really early age that this was part of going to be who I am, and this is part of my own destiny. When we started St Remio, my husband was previously working for Lavazza Coffee. So he has 10 years experience in coffee prior to this. And when they consolidated to become one global company, because they had obviously distributors around the world, Trent decided that wasn't for him. And now I'd been pushing him for years because he's very talented. I'm like, we should do our own business. Like, this is going to be amazing. And he's like, get away from me.
We're going to have a lot of time.
Yeah, it's going to be so great. And he's like, no. But then, his career kind of came to a crossroads, and he was invited quite a few times to speak at global symposium coffees around the world about his experience and how he built, been pretty instrumental in the Melbourne coffee culture scene. So he found himself on a trip to Rwanda, and he was speaking on behalf of Bloomberg Philanthropies. And they did a big coffee symposium, and there were big coffee roasters from all over the world that were here. And he was on stage and he was talking about, Lavazza and the heydays there. And like I said before, Snoop Dogg, the Melbourne Cup Carnival, those big party days. And he asked the audience, and it was a mix of both kind of business owners, those in the industry, and coffee farmers as well. And he asked, the women who were there, and he's like, tell me who's been growing coffee for 5 years, 10 years. And he got all the way through, and there was one lady standing, and she'd been growing coffee for 50 years. And then he said, what do you think coffee is? And she said, it's white man's medicine. So Trent laughed, thinking she's made a joke, and then realised very quickly, oh no, she doesn't know what it is. So how is it that we've got someone who's growing something, but you don't even know the value or the end product and how it's being consumed? And if you don't understand that, then chances are 9 times out of 10, you're also getting screwed in the system. So then it was really there that we decided, you know what? That's where St Remio was born. So St Remio is actually an acronym of everything that we stand for. So that is sustainable, transparent, Rwanda, which is where St Remio was born, empower, Melbourne, because that's where we live, impact at origin. So yes, it's an odd name, but encompasses everything we stand for, and holistically, they're the values that we hold. So that's when we said, you know what, this industry now needs to change. We're creating St Remio, and we're here to actually put a face to coffee, because we're so caught up in the brand, the blend, the barista.
That's really beautiful, Julia. So tell us a little bit more about Rwanda. Why Rwanda? What happened? What's the story behind it?
Can I tell you, Rwanda is incredibly special to both of us. It's a beautiful country. Obviously, history, they've had quite a sad history.
Yes.
But what they have done off the back of that is obviously they're very pro-female empowerment, right? I'm a director of a company, and I am also the same, very pro-female. And so that is actually really inspiring, that from something so tragic and so terrible that they can still come together and unify, and also be very progressive when it comes to female empowerment and women in positions of power and having a voice. So when Trent was at that symposium and he went to the origins and stuff, like he came back and we spoke, and that's, like I said, that's when St Remio was born. But we then made a commitment, like, how are we going to help this community, right? How are we going to help this community? So when we fund projects, there is no in-between charity, or we fund them directly. So we say, okay, every year we will ask them, what do you want? What do you need? It's no point me coming involved and saying, you know what, I'm going to build you this and we're going to do this, right? I don't live this every day. That's not, and it's about, like I said, it's also about empowering them in business. They know it better than me. So it's up to them to say, you know what, we want to purchase more land. And we need to build a nursery, and we need to fund the agronomists to help us train the farmers to farm smarter, to work in cohesion with the environment. So, like I said, we had made a commitment to those people, to those women, but we were going to help them. We didn't know how yet, but we knew that we were going to do it. And that's exactly what we've done. And that's St Remio today. So the aim is, as the company grows, whatever project we fund, we continue to fund that community. And then as we get bigger, we start to fund additional communities on top of it. So it's to kind of show you how working together means that coffee can be successful for all. Because what happens is coffee is a traded commodity. And to date, farmers have been rolled up in the transaction like they're nothing, like they're worth nothing.
So Julia, it's like building community with a meaning to you, right?
Absolutely. And it's also about making consumers aware of the people behind that cup of coffee, that there are actual people, families, they have their own dreams. They want to fund their children. They want to give them the best education, just like you and I. But who are we to take from that? So we've got super profits at the top. It's a company worth billions of dollars. But we've got people who can't make ends meet, and 80% of coffee farmers are living on or below the poverty line. So if I told you that your daily cup of coffee was keeping someone in poverty, that coffee doesn't taste so good anymore. And it's not that it's your fault. It's just that no one's ever told you. No one has ever stopped to tell you what's really happening behind that and lift the curtain of that. It's not pretty.
But how is that possible? Like in Melbourne, we pay $5 to $6 a cup. And I went to the market the other day, and just like a pack of four Lavazza coffee will be $50, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we pay premium price. How is
Yes.
it possible that those people don't even make a living?
Because they're getting screwed in the process. Like I said, it's a traded commodity. So they'll have to sell their green for under what it costs them to make. So coffee is what you call a cash crop. There's one harvest a year.
Hi guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode. Remember to subscribe to our channel to get updates, and keep enjoying the rest of the episode.
And from that, they have to fund not only their families, but they have to maintain their land too. So there's weeding, there's, the upkeep of the land. And obviously it takes 3 years. When you plant a coffee seedling, it's about 3 years before you can harvest from it.
Okay.
Right?
And coffee is pretty cheap in Australia. You've just been to New York.
Absolutely.
What are the prices in New York?
Yes. So, we're up in arms about the price of coffee, and I get it, right? Because I know that there's a sea of problems at the moment. There's the cost of living pressures. Everyone's feeling this. So, of course, and the cafe owners, it's such a huge, important coffee's such a massive part of their revenue stream. Like you own venues, it's a huge part of it, right? But what we've set out to do is say, you can't put your head in the sand anymore. We launched a documentary. It was called The Real Cost of Coffee last year.
Beautiful.
And it was talking about all the issues that we're facing now. And people at the time are like, well, that doesn't really, we're saying, hey, that doesn't really impact me. Like, that's not going to happen. And then lo and behold, here we are. We've got coffee prices at the highest that they've ever been. You've got climate change issues, whether you want to believe that or you don't, but that's the reality and it's true. So you've got Brazil, the biggest supplier of Arabica coffee in the world. They've had issues, so they're not able to hit their supply. And then you've got Vietnam as well, and Vietnam's the largest producer of Robusta coffee. So all of a sudden, you've got global consumption on the increase, but you've got production on the decrease. And then, of course, when you hit with climate issues and all of a sudden you can't fulfill the orders, well, of course, the prices go through the roof. So again, you're all paying a high, the consumer's paying a higher cost of coffee, the green, we're purchasing green beans at a higher cost of coffee, to transform it is at a higher cost, all these things. But that person who's growing it, still forgotten about. No one cares about them. And that's what I'm saying. We can't do this anymore because they will keep leaving and they'll abandon their crops. And that is what's happening.
But you, at St Remio, you actually care.
Of course we care because we love coffee. And I think there's 215 million people around the world that derive an income from coffee. So we can't just put our heads in the sand and say, well, that's not going to affect me, because now it is, right? All of a sudden, your coffee suppliers turn around saying to you, well, maybe you were purchasing your coffee at $28 a kilo, and now it's $38, which means your coffee price that you're selling to your customer has now gone from being $5 to $6, $7, right? And you're thinking, oh, no, I might lose that customer now, right? So, but of course, so you now need to make choices that reflect not only your own values, but what's the future of coffee look like? Because if we keep doing this and we're not investing back in origin and we're not supporting the coffee farmers and we're not giving them, because let's be clear, when we talk about issues like climate change, they are also part of the problem, right? If you're a generational farmer, you have only learned to farm a certain way, right? And so your technique may be eroding the land. So we need to reinvest it and show you how to work in cohesion with the environment, how to make sure we're protecting biodiversity. We need to do that, but we need to help fund that. We need to support them. If you love coffee, we have to respect it all the way back to the origins so that we can have it for the future, because the future of coffee is really not very bright.
So do you think the coffee price will increase
Yes.
in the future?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because again, the predictions are that, again, global consumption continues to grow. So when we talk about coffee, let's understand this, that coffee is the second most consumed beverage on earth outside of water, right? Just sit with that for a bit. It's enormous.
That's new information. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was Coca-Cola.
Me too.
Right,
No.
no, sorry, no.
So on every day,
We'll cut that.
so I think the statistic is every day is 2.25 billion cups of coffee are consumed every single day. It is enormous, right? And coffee is such a like the one thing we love about coffee, it's also a really beautiful and a very unique product because when I look at coffee really brings people together. Like we go to the cafe, we catch up with our friends. We invite people over for a coffee at our house.
We are Italians, so for us it's a
sitting here
social
today,
thing. You know?
right? We're having a coffee, right? It's got such a beautiful connection. But, like I said, that love at a local level has to now become a global movement. And that's what we're about, a global movement to put people first and change how we look and see coffee and start making choices, ethical choices that are about supporting the coffee farmer, investing in the coffee farming and making sure that future is bright. Because we can all sit there and slap a sticker on a bag saying we're all specialty coffee. But sorry, what do you stand for? Your business will not last if you are not addressing the problems, right? And St Remio, we're still... of course, when we look at the global scheme of things, St Remio was very small, right? Do I have big ambitions? Absolutely, right? I'm here to shake shit up and disrupt an industry that needs to be shaken. But, if we can kind of do it, imagine if we all came together and really said, okay, let's hold some accountability here. Let's really be accountable.
But do you think also the way Australian farmers, they actually grow products in Australia, it is not respecting the environment? Or I would say, can we do something better also in Australia?
Farmers in general?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably not close to that agricultural side of things, but probably they're very progressive in the way that they do it. Now, the other thing too is, if we're talking, for example, wheat or canola, you get a harvester, it's one person driving the truck, you're clearing that crop.
Yeah.
But remember that coffee is largely hand-picked. It is grown on cliffs like this, high altitudes, right? And you have to pick it, there's no machines, right? Only in certain countries, there's areas of Brazil and there's some areas in Vietnam where it'll shake the crop like wine and it will fall off and you can harvest it that way, right? So those ones, they're probably pretty profitable, right? Because there's no people. But for majority of it is hand-picked. One harvest a year, small plot farm holders, maybe, one plot, this could be 2 plots the size of this whole room, and you've got to derive your whole income from it. Like, it's hard. It's very labor intensive. Then, like when we go to Rwanda, they are putting 40 to 50 kilos on their head to get it out. And then it's got to go to a washing station. It's got to be processed. It's got to be weighed. And then, so there's a huge process that takes part before they even collect their money. It's really difficult. So we just need to understand the process, work with them, and make sure we're educating them to work smarter and, like I said, work in cohesion with the environment.
You're very inspiring. Nobody has ever put coffee in this way to me.
Yeah.
We just drink coffee. We like it or not, we're all superficial. That doesn't taste good.
But it's just that no one's challenged you to look beyond that. So like before I started St Remio, I did the same. I was that person too, right? So it's not anyone's fault. It's just that no one's actually kind of held a light up and said, hey, These are the people behind it, and this is what's happening to them. It's hard. It's really hard. And that was why we did the documentary, to show you this is what growing coffee really looks like. It's really hard. And then we love it so much, but we're so consumed with barista champions and, like I said, a swan in a cup, and we only have to have this brand and it's all this. But like I said, it's got to be more than that. We're all accountable. We're all responsible. If it's something that we love, we have to collectively do better and make sure we're supporting farmers and we're not eroding them, because to love coffee is to respect them, is to give them a voice and say that they matter, because they do.
And because you got experience in PR, that's like why you love giving voice to people, right? So you've always been doing that.
Yeah. Well, look, we're a people first business, right? That's our whole mantra, is we're a people first company. You know, we have a hugely diverse workplace, which we love, and we love to celebrate all their cultures and understand that's what makes them them. That's what makes them really special. So we love that, and we want to learn about it and we embrace it. And it's just about making sure that we are, you know, I can't do everything, right? I've got certain skills. My husband, you know, obviously I work with my husband. He has certain skills. We are very much yin and yang, very, very different in our approach. Same goal, very different approaches. But that's also what makes it work.
That's why you balance.
Yes, I'm a risk taker and he's conservative, right? So I'll be like, you know, I'll walk into the office one day, I'll be like, oh my gosh, we are doing this and it's going to be amazing. And he's like, what's that going to cost the most? What? Don't worry about that. Like, it's going to happen.
He's the analytical mind.
Absolutely. And I'm like, no, it's going to be great. Like, I've already done it. Like, I've already signed it. He's just like, oh my God. And I'm like, right? But we need that in each other, right? It's like, that's the balance that we need. And then what we do is we know what our strengths are. And then we build the team around us with people who are better than us. Like, I'm not afraid of talent. I love talent. I want you to win. And I want you to also be part of the company and see that you are having a meaningful, because then you feel rewarded. You can see what you're doing, not only in your own professional career, but you can see that your brand or the company that you're working for is doing something great for others, and you are a meaningful part of that.
Have you ever had this mentality, or you are talking like this because of experience right now?
No, I've always, even when I had my PR business, I was always about people and making sure I looked after talent. And we just made sure that I gave them all the tools to be the best they could be. Because of course, people aren't going to stay with me forever. Like, it's just naive to be like, oh, that person's here for the next 30 years. They're not. But I want to make sure that we are a meaningful part of their life, and that I'm giving them tools so that they can go and, you know, continue to kick goals in their own career. And I want to watch them succeed. I want to watch you win. I'm not, like I said, I'm not threatened by talent. There's enough for everyone. And as much as, you know, if I'm an important part of their life, or just an important chapter of their life, they are also an important chapter of mine, because they're helping us fulfill our own dream and our own goals. How it's so important to me.
That's great. So you believe in your people.
Yes.
And you help them, you empower them to get better, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, you're only ever as good as your team. I can't do everything, right? I can't be the best at everything. It's impossible, right? So you need to understand what your weaknesses are and then build great people in around you. And we all have to have a shared vision, right? As long as everyone on board understands the goal of where we're going. And like I said, ensures that they also feel like they're valued and that they're contributing to that.
So where are we going? Where are we going, Julia?
We're going global, right? We are going global.
Right.
Like I said, my whole vision for St Remio is to be the leading ESG coffee company in the world. And it's a big statement, and then people are probably like, why would you say that? But if you don't say something, you don't make it happen.
I can see that you believe in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't tell you how I'm going to get there. I just know I am.
Yeah. I know you will.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how do you balance your work life with your family and your
the good old
life?
question of balance, right? That's a hard one.
The balance that doesn't exist.
Nah, I love people who are like, oh, the balance. There is no such thing. I am proudly a full-time working mother, and it doesn't mean I'm less than. It doesn't mean that I'm a compromised mother. I'm not. I believe you can do both, and I believe you can do both well. So it's a narrative that I really always strongly want to get across, because I think so many times people think you have to do one or the other. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly, because I have 2 children. My son is 9 and our daughter is 4. So still I have a young family. Both my children are IVF and I'm really proud of that. It was obviously a struggle to have them, but I'm incredibly grateful for them. And they are, for Trent and I, they are of course our priority. And everything we do for them, but we also do it as an example. For me, what is so important is that my daughter sees a strong working woman and she understands that her voice matters and that she can do that. She's not there to grow up and be someone's handbag, be seen and not heard. Just like we're doing for the women in Rwanda, what she says matters, what she has to give in this life matters. So I want her to look at me and be like, if my mum can do this, I can too. And when I look at my son, I also want for my son to see a woman, a strong working woman, as a thing of beauty, not something to be scared of or intimidated of. Like she's got an opinion, therefore she's bossy. Do you know what I mean? Like she's not. I'm not bossy. Am I strong-willed? Yes. But I deserve a seat in the room and I've earned it. I make no apologies for it and I shouldn't have to, right? Just because I'm a woman.
You can be compassionate and firm at the same time,
Absolutely,
right?
you can.
And
You
also
can be
realize in my life that people that like you think that you are confident. People that dislike you, they think you are an arrogant.
Yes.
So you can't please everybody.
No, and I'm not here to please everyone. If we're going to live our life as people pleasers, it's just a sad thing. I think if you need to look in the mirror and be really happy with the person looking back at you. So first and foremost, you have to love yourself and look back and say well done. And I do. I am really proud of myself. And if I'm going to impart something great to my children, I have to be proud of myself first before they are proud of me. Because that way then I'm leading by example. And that's so important to me that my children see that they understand that happiness is not about dollars. It's about living a life that's full, supporting others. It's rich when we're doing that. Sharing it together is really where I know people who are incredibly rich, but they're also really unhappy. It's not about that. But when we give and we support each other and we love each other and we live a life with purpose and we really do something amazing, our hearts are full and we're rich. That's what it is.
As Tony Robbins says, life without fulfillment is the ultimate failure.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. I just think it's so important. And that's, one of the things that I really want to champion with my children. So it's important that they see me work. And we tell them, we take them on the journeys with us. Like sometimes we have to make a delivery to a cafe and Hunter will be there. We'll roll in. He knows all the chefs. They all know him. He'll go to Grill Americano. He'll roll into Mason Batard at Chris Lucas's restaurant with the coffee. They all know him. They all know Hunter. Hey, how you going, kid? He's part of it. And that's wonderful. We want to take them on the journey with us. And they're proud of us and they're excited for St Remio. And we drive past and they see a billboard. My son is often telling half our business stories to the kids in the playground. I'm like, dude, that's not for the school consumption. But he's like, hey, did we get this? But I love that because he's invested in it too, right? And it's such a big part of who we are. And for him to want to be part of that and to be equally excited is really important. And I think then, we've done our job.
So your factory, the production is in Coburg, right?
Yes, we do too. So we do both local manufacturing, but we also have a production facility in Italy. So we have launched into America. So I've just come back from New York yesterday.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no.
You're probably still jet lagged, right?
No, I'm fine.
Thank you.
But, we're launching into America. And, we're really taking on that food service market there. They're screaming out for good coffee and we are here for it. But like I said, if we're going to become a global company, so yeah, and then that way, what that allows us to do is that we are agnostic in our approach. So it's one of the key differences with us. We don't come in and say, well, we just do this, right? We analyze a market. Any country that we go into, we understand the market, the consumption, the style of coffee that they drink. Their price modeling, we understand that and we build the program around that before we enter. So like the products that we're doing in America, we're not selling them here, right? Because of different consumption, right? They drink coffee differently.
So do you think there is still an opportunity in America with coffee?
Absolutely. And it's huge. Like I said, Americans will drink 400 million cups of coffee every day. So it's enormous there.
What quality? Watery. I mean, Starbucks. Yeah, Starbucks. I know.
Yes. But then I think there's also great opportunity to kind of lift up the coffee game. You know, we've got so many, you know, and this is where Trent really comes into shine, because Trent's the coffee talent of the two of us, right? So he's blend development. He will see trends before they even happen. Like, he's gifted at this. He's very, very good. And then it's like he picks all the equipment, you know, and there's amazing things that are coming out with AI and IoT technology and how we can kind of work those things, and how do we de-risk it when it's hard to find good baristas, you know, especially in America. You know, how do we, they use a lot of fully automatic machines.
Yeah. That's like a tendency.
Yeah.
But also it's really sweet, the coffee in America. They have a different taste, right?
Look, they do. They love a really dark roast, like a dark roasted coffee. Obviously, they, you know, filter coffee is enormous there, and they're getting a 16-ounce filter coffee. I mean, I wouldn't sleep for a year on that stuff. But again, it's not for us to make the commentary on how they drink. It's just about saying, okay, well, let's make an agnostic approach into your market, understand how you consume it, and then how do we uplift it and give you a really great coffee experience, taking our knowledge from here and our expertise and applying that to that country, and then seeing how it goes. But we're really excited about that.
Yeah, I think the experience of drinking coffee is different. For example, in Asia, they have coffee in the afternoon, just sit down with friends. And I really love like some of the reels that I see. For example, when you order a coffee in Canada or in Australia, there is like, would you like it? Small, medium, big. Milk, hot, something. In Italy, it's like, can I have a coffee?
It's espresso. That's it.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
120 eventually, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's the thing. Like, every country has its own nuances, and you have to, if you're going to take it on, you have to understand that. Like you said, Italy has their espresso and it's a set price, right? Yeah. Doesn't matter what brand you are.
Yeah, just like we go, shot, and then
you stand at the bar, we drink at the bar. Sparkling water, correct?
That's it. I love it.
Yes.
Like, that's our culture. Also, here it's kind of, I always get a latte here because like it's $5 for coffee, and also, you know, I don't know, it's a mental thing. In Australia, it's like I want more. If I pay higher price, I want more stuff. So I do more latte here, but in Italy I do more espresso.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and you probably have 6 of them a day and go to bed at night.
Yeah.
No problems.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just part of the culture, but that's the thing. We understand the market and understand how they drink. Like, again, we were just in New York. It's 11 o'clock at night and the coffee shops are still full and they're still drinking, right? They're still having coffee. It's different. So we make our approach and we understand, okay, well, here are the challenges and here are the setbacks, and this is how we're going to enter the market, and this is how we can change the game. So not only with the messaging of St Remio and how we're sustainable and how we approach our whole coffee program, but then we can also look at everything from the equipment, and then how do we de-risk it but still deliver a consistent and a high quality coffee, because that's one of the keys to our successes, is that our coffee that we have here is consistent. We put a lot of thought about the bar and what equipment we use, how we use it, grind by weight, the certain grinders we use, a whole process. It's a whole process that goes with this. We're very particular on it, but we're particular on it because then what happens is, once it's in venue, what you then have is that you've got a team of people who know, easy to use. We call it easy to drink, easy to use, right?
Love it.
Coffee that's easy to drink, easy to use. Easily have 2 cups of coffee, no problems, but it's easy for your team to use. And what happens is, like, if I have a coffee today, doesn't matter who's making it, it will taste great the next day, right? You don't want to walk in and be like, oh no, crap, Bobby's on the barista machine. He makes the worst coffee. And the next day you go in and be like, oh, there's Joanne. Joanne makes a good one. Great, right? We don't want that. We want to make sure because that's your income and revenue too. So we want to make sure that coffee is always great, right? So how do we de-risk it? And that's a big part of St Remio. And that's also been one of the biggest parts to our success and our growth.
Julia, with new opportunities, how do you balance commercial growth with staying true to your mission?
Well, we really, when we're pitching for business or customers are coming to us, like, we obviously really take them through the story. And it starts with, this is what St Remio is about, right? We want people to be on board with who we are and the mission, right? The positive coffee movement. First and foremost, we want you to be on board with that. And we want you to be really proud to serve St Remio at your venue, right? Because it's so much more than just a great cup of coffee. That coffee pays it forward. So we take people through our story first and we play them, video. So, visually, I think when you talk about something, that's one thing, but when you actually watch something, it lands really differently. So we get people to watch the video too. And then we talk about, again, then we start into our coffee program, because obviously our values is one part, and then obviously our coffee program is the other, and then put it together, and that's who we are. But we always want to pick customers that, are progressive. We also understand, like, I'm a small business owner. You're a small business owner. We really understand how much too that you have sacrificed to build a company, right? The nights where you can't sleep. How am I going to pay that bill? The market's volatile, what's happening? Your best staff member walks out on you, or whatever it might be, right? It's ongoing every single day. It is unrelenting, and we get it, right? We do, because we're living that too. And we are here. Everyone that works with St Remio, one thing we're really kind of passionate about is, like, we get it, and we are here to support you too. And your success is our success. It's important that we invest in you, that we support you. We want you to grow. We want you to thrive. We want to help you get there, because you've given up so much to get there, and you'll continue to do so, because that's what a business owner does. It is what it is, right? So we're committed to you, and we make sure we have a great team of people around us, and that we, like I said, we visit you. We are there. We're always innovating. Like, we're not resting on our laurels. That is one thing is for sure. Like, we're moving, and we've got ideas, and it's this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And, like, we're always thinking of ideas. How do we increase your bottom line? What other things can we bring to the table, right? We sell coffee, but along with coffee, we sell chocolate and chai and this. So, like, you can come to me, and it's a one-stop shop, and I'm going to make your life a lot easier with great quality products to help you, a whole kit. And so that's the difference. But we understand and we respect all the customers that come to us on a business level too.
What has been your proudest moment with St Remio so far?
I don't know why I'm going to get emotional. Look. It's
all right.
I love this company, and I love St Remio. Like, it is everything to me. We're celebrating 10 years this year, which is really exciting, and I still can't believe I'm 20. Figure the math out. But anyway, it's been a really hard journey. It hasn't been easy, and it will continue to do that. There are a lot of battle scars underneath this that I proudly wear. I earned them, right? And I survived them. And when not only did I survive things that could break a lot of people, I came out better, but I made sure that it never made me bitter or angry. Because I think sometimes when things happen in business, you can get really angry and resentful, and then you become someone that you don't want to be.
Yeah, sometimes I get angry, but it's like, what can you do? It's like, probably some people have their own reasons or something happening in the business.
But I don't want someone's or an experience to change me. It needs to make me better. But I will always come from a place of kindness and just leaving a mark that when I leave the world, that it will be somewhat better than where I started with, or that someone gets a great opportunity from that.
Yes.
Like I said, how wonderful. It's St Remio, you fight for what you love. I just never find that hard when shit hits the fan all the time. Like, that's okay, I will find a way. No one tells me how this ends but me.
Are you scared of changing?
No. Like, we all need to evolve as people. What I don't want to do is let anything that's negative or, things that happen in business that can be hard change who I am, right? It has to make me better. It makes me better. So I will always let go, let go of anything negative that's happened, and then, like I said, learn from it, but use it to make me better and not become angry, but continue to lead with compassion, strength, and kindness.
You have a very inspiring story.
Thank you.
You are a big, strong woman.
Yeah.
Your message comes across like it should.
Thank you. No, I'm
very passionate.
Yes, I am. Well, that's one thing I've got in spades. Trent and I have is a lot of passion.
The passion is evident.
Can I ask you, where does your strength comes from?
I have a thing called unrelenting self-belief. I just believe that I will get it done. Come hell or high water, I will get it done. And I just won't stop. And even when, like, you know, I spent 5 years in court being sued.
About what?
So for patent infringement. So I was sued personally and then also on a product that we launched. And that's a harrowing 5 years of my life, right? That's also why my children have an age gap between them, because every time I came strolling on in to the IVF doctor, she's like, get out. You're too stressed. And I'm like, but I'm getting older. So when I look at my daughter, she's like my miracle child because I survived it and I was able to have her. And so I'm very grateful for that. But even on the darkest, I'm like, that shit got dark, right? But I just always believed that I was going to be okay. And I knew it. And even when the day that court hearing came down, I walked in and Trent goes, and I was like, I'm telling you, we're going to be fine. He's like, how can you be sure? I said, I don't know. I'm telling you. Just trust me. I've got this. Like, I've got it. And I was fine. And it all worked out. But like I said, those things and those moments where everyone told me to run, why would you do that? Run. And I was like, no one tells me how. Like, one thing is like, I'm strong-willed, but I have a very strong mind. And when I set out to do something, I will do it. No one will stop me.
So you learn how to stay and fight.
Stay and fight? You have to, I can never say this word, so I'm going to really stuff this up, right?
Okay.
It's like decompartmentalize, whatever it is. I think, you know. So one thing it is like I can have an issue.
Julia.
Yeah. You know how everyone has a word, right? There's a word people can't say. That one's mine, right? But what I do have is an innate ability to have an issue, deal with that issue, put that issue in a box, put the lid on it, move to the next. I can come back, but I'm not going to wallow in this, right? So I'll separate things into, I guess, boxes. It's the best way to explain it. And I can kind of pick things up and put things down. So I can deal with something as stressful as being sued, right? And then I can put it down, come home, see my children and be mum and be there for them because I don't want them to panic, you know? So I'm not going to bring that home to them and I'll be mum and then I'll put that down and I'll go back to the office and I'll pick that up again. Right? It's a hard thing to do. It's something I have been able to do and can do very well.
Okay, so that's why you say compartmentalize. So basically, you're not taking your work challenges or like different humors towards
Can't
your
let it
family,
become
right?
all encompassing, right? Because then it's just infiltrating every aspect of your life, right? So it's about how do you put a delineation in it. Doesn't mean the problem's going away. It's not, right? You still have to address it. But at some point, you have to put it down and then you got to go the next. And
I think this is one of the biggest skills that sets successful entrepreneurs from unsuccessful entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's hard. But like I said, I've taken a lot of challenges and I've always taken them head on. And I've got a girlfriend who's starting a business at the moment. She's like, I feel really scared. And I said, that's great, right? You got to feel the fear and you got to lean right into that. It means you're onto something. Don't run, double down.
Yeah, so it's like facing the challenge and then go through it, right?
Yeah. And I think don't get me wrong, you've got to be smart. Like one of the other things is I have a very level head and I can separate emotion from it, right? So like I said, it's no point being angry at something. There are no answers when you're angry. You say things you regret. Let's think of it as you have a fight with your wife, right? You say something in the heat of the moment that you regret, right? That's what happens when you're angry because you're not thinking properly. So you never act in emotion and you certainly never act in anger or vengeance. There's no answers in that. So again, you have to push that aside. So I can do that. I'll take a situation and I'll take my feelings right out of it and I'll look at it for what it is and make a very calm and level-headed decision about that. Then I won't hold the grudge after. I won't, because holding a grudge holds me back. I'm not carrying it.
So that's great. What I'm saying is, so do you think a lot of people make take decisions when they're in flight or fight mode instead of like settling down and just making the best decision?
Yes, I think there are a lot of people that do. They get caught up.
Do you think coffee affects this?
Don't have 45 coffees and make a decision. It's probably not a great idea. I do. I think people get, when people are hurt, they act out or they lash out and they say something, right? But you have to pull yourself back and say, okay, let's take a step back. Let's assess the situation without the emotion and make a level-headed decision. Level-headed decisions make level-headed outcomes.
Julia, what is your leadership philosophy, especially when it comes to building teams?
I like to empower people and give them the ability to shine, right? It's when I was working and in the beginning of my career, I still remember this one line that my husband said to me. He's like, when you're interviewing or when you're being interviewed, as much as they're interviewing you, you are also interviewing them. And I loved that. That's always stayed with me because it's about finding someone who is going to give you opportunity, that's going to invest in your growth and development and is going to allow you to shine, right? So that's why I say I'm not threatened by talent or ambition. I love that because I am that person. And I want you to also have the opportunity to shine. And if I can give you the tools to do that and mentor you and be part of that process, then your career continues to go forward and go on. And I've played a part in that. And I'm really proud of that. I look at people who've worked for me and where they are today, and I'm really proud of them. And I'm not angry that they don't work for me anymore. Of course I'm not. I'm happy. Go shine. Take that talent. I've played one part of it. You keep going. So I'm about, like I said, it's just about making sure we give everyone opportunity and that you feel like you've had a meaningful impact in your time with St Remio. And you can see the impact of your work and that you feel valued and part of a team. And that's every day you turn up somewhere because you want to, not because you have to.
What authenticity means to you, Julia?
Say that again.
What authenticity means to you, being authentic?
It's everything. I mean, I just think being open and honest about who you are and what you do, all your visions and your dreams and, the highs and the lows. We take our employees on the journey with us, the very best and the very worst, but they're in it all together. I'm not here to hide things from them. So being authentic is everything, right? We make real connections based on that. It's so important. Like I said, even when I gave you guys my bio, there's a lot in there, but it's there on purpose because it's me, right? This is who I am. I don't make any apologies for that. This is me. So when you come and work for me, I want to get to know who you are as a person and you're going to get to know me. I respect honesty. It doesn't have to always, we can have disagreements but I like being challenged too. So please give me your opinion, give me your ideas. That's how we grow, right? That's how we get better. Like I said, I don't know it all. And it would be remiss of me to say I do because I don't. Only ever as good as the people around me. And if they get the vision of where we want to go and they feel important and part of it and empowered by it, then we're going somewhere.
Julia, lastly, if you could go back, what advice would you give to a younger self?
I would say that she's going to be just fine. And everything that she has put her mind to, she will get because she's going to work really hard. But at the end of the day, I would say to her, don't worry, you're going to be just fine. That's me.
Thank you so much. This was a fantastic interview.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
like I
for
said,
coming
I'm
in.
really grateful to be here. It's wonderful.
You are building a beautiful business, St Remio, with purpose.
Thank
and
you.
It shows.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're here to change the world. So let's do it. One coffee at a time.
Grazie, Julia.
Grazie.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the episode. I'm gonna see you in the next one.
Welcome to Dining Room Stories with Domar and Andrea, where we take you behind the scenes of the restaurant business world with stories and conversation that inspire.